Hi everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome along. If you're new, please hit that subscribe down there and hit the notifications bell. It all helps to keep the channel going. So here we are now with part 3 and pack 3. It's the second delivery of this beautiful DeAgostini Ferrari 330. So what have we got in this box? Appropriately, we've got 131 on the front, which is, you will see soon, is quite appropriate. So in here we have packs 3, 4 and 5. And this video is going to concentrate just on pack 3. But looking in here, I can see immediately, we look at pack 3, we can see this is like another level for a part work. Look at it, the detail on these castings is absolutely stunning. We've got individual parts to make up the UJs. There's a gear case cover there. We've got a hose there which has all been pre-painted. It's looking very, very nice. And then just looking for a sneak preview for, we're pack 4, we've got another gearbox casing. We've got another UJ. There's some clear hosing in here, some unions. And then when we look at pack 5, here we can see we've got a plastic envelope, and you can see we've got engines, half of an engine, distributor cap, all these little pieces along here, lots of screws. It's looking like a very busy, involved little build. So looking forward to this a lot. If you want to get one of these, please use the link in the description below. I don't get anything back for it, but all it does, it lets them know the traffic that I'm getting them, DeAgostini that is. So if you do want to have a look at one of these, please use the link down below. It's looking like a beautiful model. If you remember, back in parts 1 and 2, we did the steering wheel, we did the actual one of the wheels, and we built a headlight. So yeah, looking very, very nice. So we'll put this box off to one side and we'll start by having a look at the magazine, as we always do. So, build the Ferrari 330p4, the most beautiful racing car of all time. I think the 917 is a beautiful car, but I guess, yeah, I guess they're on a par. You can't really compare, can you? But there's the 3 of them there, absolutely beautiful. So, going into the magazine, here you can see we've got all the different contacts and everything, and a message for the readers, and then printed in Italy. I think this is actually made in Italy, this model, the same as the Mustang is, I believe. So here we got the protagonists, the Daytona champions. Of the 6 star drivers on the Daytona Exposition, 4 were professionally linked to Enzo Ferrari: Lorenzo Bandini, Chris Amon, Mike Parks and Lodovici Scarfiotti. NART's 412P, on the other hand, was crewed by Mexican professional racer Pedro Rodriguez and French industrial Jean Goucher. So there we go. Dottie's barking at something. So, 1967 Daytona, we can see here. May the 7th, 67, there's Lorenzo Bandini. Bandini celebrates his only F1 victory in 1964. And then here we've got Bandini and Rodriguez getting a bit close in the corner. Bandini and his Ferrari 330p3 at the Targa Fiore in May 1966. Why is every single word in Italian is like sexy? It's really nice, isn't it? Below, a close-up of Lorenzo Bandini at the wheel of his Ferrari 512 F1 in 1965. And here we can see Chris Amon is seen here next to the 312 number 19 chassis number 0872 that he will drive. Beautiful cars, weren't they? There's a beautiful looking F1 car. Chris Amon wins Tasman Championship for drivers in 1969. And then we've got Amon in the cockpit of his Ferrari at the 1967 Italian Grand Prix. Got Enzo Ferrari in there as well. And then Mike Parks and his Ferrari 312 inside Denny Hulme's Brabham at Monza in September 1966. And then here we've got Scarfiotti in his 330p4 after the grueling Le Mans race of 1967. That's the car we're building. And then here, an odd couple. The third car to finish at the 1967 Daytona 24 was the Ferrari 412p, rebodied by Drogo in the P4 Star and intended for private teams as a replacement for the 365p. There we go. So, here we have our parts layout. So this is all the parts we've got on our screws. I see here we've got M1, we've got metal screws and plastic screws. And we've got M1.7 threads. And I don't have a 1.7 tap. So I'm going to have to order a tap. so I can't continue with this until I get the tap. So I'm going to get onto Amazon. Hopefully they'll have one on next day prime delivery, and yeah, because we need that straight away. And you know me, I don't like to just gorge the screws in. I like to cut my threads, so that's what I'll be doing. So I'll see you back like that. And so we have 1.7mm tap. There we go, got it on Amazon. It was only about £5 or £6 or something, I think. So there we go. So as you know, I like to cut my threads rather than just put the screws in. So we have the box of parts here. We can get this cut open. The easiest way to do this, I find, is to go around the bottom like this and slice away, making sure your hands are kept clear of the blade. Just slice away and cut through the plastic like so. There we go. Corners are a little bit more difficult than the rest. And there we are. Let it come away from the cardboard. So the cardboard can go in the recycling, and then we get the plastic trays apart like so. And then the plastic tray can also go in the recycling. So we've got a lovely plastic tray of parts. So we've got all our bits there. I'm going to tip them out and capture that one before it goes on the floor. So what do we have here? We have a gearbox half, which is metal, which is nice. An engine front cover. 3J, what's 3J? A front housing bracket. There's part of the UJ. There's another part of the UJ. They've got some screws here, all in little resealable bags. We've got the centre of the UJ there. And there's a wheel pump part or something. There we go. So that's all the parts as per the magazine. We've got them all there. Yes, we do. We have them all there. So let's crack on. Right. So here we are, part 3. So we're going to take the left shaft 3C and the joint 3D. Engage joint and half shaft, secure with an SM screw, complete this assembly stage with another SM screw, photo C. So we're going to put 2 SM screws into that universal joint as so. So we've got here's the centre of the universal joint. So this is part 3D. Okay, so we've got a load of plastic bags to keep hold of. So into this are going to go some SM screws in all 4 holes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this M1.7 tap and just put threads, sort of 2 or 3 turns. Okay, and that way the screw will bottom out on an uncut piece of thread, on an uncut thread or a not fully cut thread, because the tap has a taper on it. And that will act as like a sort of a thread locking mechanism, if you like. Alright, so we've now got threads in all of those, but they're not all the way through. Okay, so that's cool. And then this one, we're going to have a screw going in from the gearbox to lock this in. So I'm just going to put that a couple of threads in there, just for the screw to go into, and then it will bind on the bottom. There we go. Now these parts are plastic, where the screws are going into those, so we're not going to worry about cutting threads in those. So I'm not sure what's going to go on with that one. We'll have a look in part 4. So we've got all our screws here. So what we've got to do is get some SM screws. So here are the SM screws. So we'll get this bag open. Come on. It's playing up because the camera's on. That's the way it goes. So we get the SM screws out. We should have one spare. Now I'm not sure. Yes, it will. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this little universal joint part in the middle here, and then we're going to put this screw into here. So I'm just going to put it in a couple of turns, grab another screw and put that one in there. Just a couple of turns like that. Okay, not tighten anything up at the moment, and then we're going to take this other part, and this is going to go on this part of the universal joint. So we'll grab another screw onto here and put that one in there, just like so, and then we'll take this screw here and put that one in there. So now we've got a universal joint which is all working and all lovely, as you can see. Okay, all flexible and good to go. So what we can do now is just nip these screws up so they bottom out. Okay, and as you can see, what's happening is it's binding up. So what we'll do is just slacken each screw slightly, and then it becomes movable. There we go, that's our universal joint done. Now this is going to go into the opening in the gearbox left side, secure the assembly with an AM screw. So an AM screw is here, so we've got two of those. It's always they generally give you one spare. So we'll get a screwdriver onto there if it will hold it. Yes, it will. And then we're going to put this into this gearbox housing, and then we're going to secure it just like so. If you remember, I didn't put the threads all the way in, so now the screw is gone. The thread has gone tight. So what we can do is just bottom that out. There we go, that's free to turn now. So we've got a free to move universal joint, we've got a free to turn universal joint, and there we go, job done. So that's that part done. Then going over the page, we got to take the front motor housing here. I'm wondering why we've got all these spare SM screws. It said in the beginning we had 6 SM screws plus 2 spare. So I've got much more than 6. I've got many more than 6. So I'm going to put those back in that SM bag and keep them just in case. So I've used 4 and they give you 2 spare. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. So we had lots of spares. We had 2 AM screws. Okay, there's 1 AM screw in there. That's all right. So there were 4 spare. And then we've got the AP screws here, the plastic ones. You can tell if it has a suffix M, it's metal. If it has a suffix P, it's plastic. Get this bag open, get these screws out of here. Okay, so take the front motor housing detail 3H and the water pump 3G. So this piece here, so that's going to go in there, and the water pump 3G. Where is 3G? 3G is going onto here. Okay, so position the detail on the housing as shown in photo A and fasten with the inside with an AP screw. So we're going to grab an AP screw, get it onto our screwdriver, and we are going to pick this up and fasten this into position just like so, like that. Okay, remember this is plastic, so you're just going to do the screw up until it bottoms out, and so the part is held in place firmly, just like that. And then we've got the 3G, the water pump, and that's basically, we've got a pin on there, and you can see we've got a larger pin there, so that's going to go into there and into there like that. And then we'll grab a screw and we will place a screw into that hole there and tighten it up accordingly. Okay, And then I think I've actually missed something here, haven't I? I should have fitted that. And then we've got, here we go, we've got the position the front housing bracket 3J as shown and secure with 2 AP screws, photo A. So we've got this front housing bracket. I'm going to get myself ready with a screw. And this bracket is going to go so this way up, and the bracket is going to go that way around. Okay, so it's going like that. And we're going to put, oops, we're going to put a screw into there. Just like so, and then another screw into there. Just like that, just doing them up until they bottom out. Again, don't go graunching them up, they're in plastic, guys. Okay, so that's securely fitted. So that's the bracket that's going to hold our front housing on. And then finally, we're going to check the brackets correctly orientated as shown, then connect the pipe 3I or 3L to the water pump 3G via the black coloured end, photo B. So we are going to, so it looks like this is just going to tuck around the back, and that's just going to go in there. It's a round pin going into a round hole. It's just going to sit like that. So that's just going to sit like that until we're ready to fit it to the engine. So there is our engine front cover, as you can see, looking all lovely with its Jubilee clips and black rubber hose, looking very nice indeed. Now I'm going to go back into the manual. Yes, I did. I missed this out completely. How did I do that? So take the rear cover 3E and mount it on the gearbox left side as shown. Make sure the holes in the covers tabs coincide with the holes in the gearbox, and then use 2 SM screws to secure the cover to the gearbox. So we'll get these screws out of here. I can get the bloody bag open. Okay, we'll put that to one side. That's a plastic screw. Now one of these screws is longer. That's the AM screw. So what we're going to do, we're going to secure this into here like so. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do is with my tap, I'm just going to go a couple of turns in there, put a couple of threads in, and then grab a screw. Now that tap that I've got there, I usually grind the ends off, and I haven't ground the end off, so it hasn't gone as deep as I wanted it to, but these screws are going in absolutely fine. As I say, you don't have to tap your threads. I only tap the threads because I like to. You don't have to. You can just put the screws in. Okay, so that's that rear cover in place. Can't believe I missed all of that. Anyway, that's what happens when you're on camera. So there we go, guys. There's a spare, 2 spare SM screws, a spare AM screw, and a spare AP screw there. So we've got all those spares to go in our box. I believe we get a box to put them in later on. So there we are. So that's part 3 done. So we've got our universal joint on there, all nicely done. And we've got our engine front cover here, all looking lovely. I will see you soon for part 4. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.